Good evening. My name is Mike McCormick Hunnelman. I work for the City of Bellevue in Community Development over Neighborhood Services, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to tonight's Neighborhood Leadership Gathering behind-the-scenes tour of utilities. So thank you all for coming out, and please say welcome. Congratulations for being here. We have a very full meeting tonight, so I'm going to give a couple of brief housekeeping announcements, and then I'm going to turn it over and introduce Council Member Neuenhaus to say some opening welcoming remarks. First off, everyone should have received a bag full of information and goodies at the table. So if you have not, please make sure you pick one up over there on the side table. Additionally, people are asking where are the restrooms? Which is a very good question, and they're actually out this door just on the right, and so they're right local, so they're there for you to find if you need them. One of the things that always strikes me about this tour and the work of utilities is not only the way that they go about their business, but who it is that is working here and the hard work and dedication that they put in and day out on behalf of the city. And my hope tonight is that you'll get a glimpse not only of the thoughtfulness that goes into this work and the way that they approach it, but also the people and the personnel that are here that day in and day out put in a tremendous hard work and labor on behalf of our community. And I hope that that shines through tonight. But with that, I want to please extend a welcome to Councilmember Neuenhaus to say a few opening remarks.
All right, good evening, everybody. First of all, this is why I love Bellevue right here. What is it, 80, 100 people that signed up for this today? Fantastic. I love that community engagement, and thank you so much for being here. It's fantastic. I wasn't supposed to open up remarks, but I am the liaison to the Environmental Services Commission, but the mayor was running a little bit late, so I was handed some talking points and said, hey, go welcome the group. So here I am. So welcome again. You know, I think that you're going to hear a lot about the daily essentials that are delivered to your home, to your business every day, from you know, the water that you turn on to the recyclables that are picked up. And you know, I think the utilities department is one of the unsung heroes of the city of Bellevue. They don't get nearly the attention that they really deserve. Nav and her team are just amazing, and I think every time I have a meeting or whenever we have a commission meeting, I'm amazed at the work that they're doing and at the value that they're doing it at. It's amazing the high level of services that we have in this city. It's unbelievable, and they do such a great team at maintaining it as well, and in a real responsible manner as well. We are constantly looking to always upgrade and maintain our facilities. So just a great department, great team, and I'm just excited for all the things that you're going to learn tonight. So utilities is focused on reliability, which is probably, you know, not a surprise to anybody, and they're maintaining over $3.5 billion worth of infrastructure for water, sewer, storm, water infrastructure. And there's the Mayor Chalmanack right now as he's walking in. So can everybody give him a round of applause? Do you want me to finish up, Mayor, or would you like to conclude the welcome? Okay, sounds good. So as I was saying, the $3.5 billion worth of infrastructure for water, sewer, stormwater infrastructure, which provide the drinking water, sewer, and stormwater drainage services that we all use. So anyway, so I hope tonight you'll have a greater appreciation for the utilities department, for Nav and her team. I'm sure you will. You'll learn a lot, especially when you go downstairs and check out all the equipment and infrastructure. It's quite amazing. I actually went through it when I went through Bellevue Essentials class. And we had this entire tour. And by the way, I'm just kind of curious, any other Bellevue Essentials alumni in here by chance? No? Okay, well I encourage anybody who's interested, please do, because I see a whole lot of neighborhood leaders here. So if you are interested, I would encourage you to talk to Mike and his team about taking that great course. Anyways, with that, enjoy your evening. I know you'll get a lot out of it. And now, Mayor Chalmanack.
So I have a quick question. Is this where they fix the traffic lights? Because could you fix them to be all green for me when I'm running late? I know, it's the wrong department. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you for everything that you do within your neighborhoods. This, I think, is going to be one of the more fascinating evenings for you because this is the place where, as far as I'm concerned, the magic actually happens because you don't see it. It is all of the things that the city is involved in, all of the things we're involved in with our regional partners that everybody just simply takes for granted really happens here. You turn your water on, you expect to get it, you get it. You turn the lights on, you expect to get it, you get it. You do, there's that thing of going over and flushing the toilet, and it flushes, and it goes away. And it's dealt with in an environmentally responsible manner. And that's why our Environmental Services Commission is the commission that helps our utilities take care of their business. It really is. Utilities are all about making sure the environment within our city and within our region is protected and you get great service. So welcome. Thank you for being here tonight. I'm going to stick with you for a little while, but I will again thank Jared for pinch hitting for me. He's actually a far better hitter than I am. He can hit the ball a lot longer. Again, welcome and thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilmember Newhouse. Thank you both. And I want to add to their appreciation of you being here. Really appreciate you devoting your evening to learning about utilities. I'll tell you that we're passionate about utilities, and my goal is that by the end of this evening, you're going to be also. So that's our goal today. You're going to have that program today is I'm going to do a brief presentation, and then we're going to have a tour of 7 different operational areas. And you're going to have several opportunities to ask questions. One is right after my short presentation, and then also throughout the tour. That's where the real knowledgeable people are going to be, is during the tour. And then the third opportunity is actually you have cards like this where you can submit questions that we will respond to later on after the presentation. We'll send them to you and post them on our website. So with that, before we start our presentation, I'd like to show you a short video, and that's going to give you a brief window into the type of work that our staff engages in every day to make sure that you have sustainable utility services. tell me utilities aren't sexy, huh? I realize I didn't introduce myself. I'm Nav Otal. I'm the Director of Utilities. And I will tell you that I am very, very fortunate to be working in this department because we have absolute clarity on our mission. It is to provide life-critical services to our citizens day in, day out, every hour, every day, today and 100 years from now. So I and my staff are enthused about that there is no confusion in our minds about what we are here for. So, and these are the 4 services that we provide. Water, I'm trying to figure out where to stand so I'm not in the way. So Bellevue Utilities provides 4 services: drinking water, wastewater, storm and surface water management, and solid waste services. And our goal is to provide these services to you in the most cost-effective and environmentally sound manner. Now, but that doesn't mean we don't have challenges. And so utilities has some unique challenges. One is the one that Mayor Chelmanek mentioned, which is we're out of sight and out of mind. So, no sexy parks that you can drive through. Most of our infrastructure is underground and invisible. And our success is really measured by absence of failures. And so that we quite often are invisible until there's a problem. And the other part that is unique about utilities is that although we are a department within the city government, we are literally 4 businesses operating within city government. Each one of these water, sewer, storm and surface water, and solid waste have to be standalone businesses, and they're financially sustainable. And rate revenues are our primary source of funding. Utilities does not get any tax revenue. In fact, just like every other business in the city, we pay taxes to the city. It's a business that's very capital intensive. You probably saw with the pipes and the infrastructure, the reservoirs, the pump stations, big investment, large capital investment. And we'll talk a little bit more about that is our major challenge, is the aging infrastructure. The other thing that's unique is that our services are not scalable. Normally, most businesses, they can start small and then gradually build up. We have to be ready to serve to the ultimate build out of the city. We do not want to be the ones that are putting a moratorium on growth in Bellevue. And so we have to be ready to serve long before the need is there. So our systems have to be sized accordingly. The other thing that it can get kind of confusing is, are we a service or are we a commodity? Because we, of course, charge based on how much you use. And this is especially challenging for some folks to understand when they might be snowbirds and they go down south for the winter and they're saying, I didn't even use any water. I wasn't even there. Why do I get a utility bill? It's because it's a service, and most of our costs are fixed, and so it's the ability and the readiness to serve, provide those services to you that we charge for. But at the same time, we really want that there is a pricing signal that you are able to control some of your costs, and that's why there is a fixed portion to your bill, and then there is a portion that you can control by your water consumption. So those are unique aspects to utilities as a city department. So we are going to have a quiz. We are actually going to have several of these. So if you have a smartphone, please dial to 22333 and then text utilities to participate in this. I'll give you a second to get there, 22333, and then just text utilities, and you're there. So, I mentioned that utilities is a capital-intensive business. So, how many miles of pipe do you think we have? You have some choices. Just press any one of these that you think is the right answer. So D for 500 miles, C for 850, and B for 1,000. So Are we done? Okay, I have no idea. Oh, no, we're not done yet. Okay, close enough. So, sort of right. At least half of you are right, more than half. We have over 1,600 miles of pipe underground. That includes water pipes, wastewater pipes, and storm and surface water pipes. We care very much, as I mentioned, about the rate revenues and how we spend them, because they're coming straight out of your pocket. And we look at, I look at these categories in our budget in 4 categories. So all the money we collect from you goes into paying for these 4 primary areas. And let's look at the right-hand side, the 53%. That is what we call wholesale and taxes and interfunds. That is bills we pay to others that we have no choice. That is by contract, we must pay those. So wholesale is, we purchase water from Cascade, and that's a fixed charge that we pay to them. We contract with King County for wastewater treatment. And so that's $56 million, or 56 cents of every dollar we collect from you goes to pay those 2 bills. Now, what's taxes and interfunds? So remember I said that we pay taxes to the city, to city government, because we are operating within the city? So that is the city and state taxes. And then interfunds is charges for services we purchase from the city, including rent, paying rent for this building, paying rent for our offices at City Hall, paying for a portion of HR costs, finance costs, so all of that. So it truly, utilities is a standalone business that is responsible for paying all of those costs. So those 53% goes straight for those bills. And the 19% or 19 cents of the dollar we collect from you is what we use for running the utility. All the things that you're going to see today, the operations, the cleaning, the maintaining of pipes, preparing the utility bills, doing the rate analysis, all of that, that is what the 19 cents to the dollar goes for. That's what stays in Bellevue to run the utility, all 3 utilities. 28 cents to the dollar is what we reinvest in the infrastructure. Remember, capital intensive business we have, and it's aging. Most of our systems are put in place in the 50s and 60s, so they're past their midlife, and they are now requiring a fair bit of attention. So that is the reinvestment back into the system. So I think we have another quiz. I think you're now ready for it. So how many miles of pipe do you think we install per year? Okay, we're still moving. So the answer is 5 miles. And actually, this is the first year that we have actually worked our way up to doing 5 miles. It was a slow progress to even get to this point. Now, so 5 miles a year sounds pretty good until you realize that we have over 600 miles of water pipe. So at this pace, it'll take us 125 years to replace the water pipes. So it's not an overly aggressive schedule. Like I said, managing aging infrastructure is our biggest challenge. We have a 7-year CIP that is $220 million, and about 3/4 of that is to refurbish or replace our infrastructure. This is for construction. And that translates into about $22 million a year that goes just for replacing the infrastructure. About 10-15% is for environmental preservation and flood control. But really, the biggest investment for us is taking care of the infrastructure we already have. And we have a pretty robust asset management program. So it's not like, okay, so a pipe is X years old, let's replace it. We look at the condition of it, and we do pretty exhaustive testing to say, is it time to replace? And our goal is not to replace it too early, because that's a sunk cost, and not to replace it too late, because that is very, very costly. And I will tell you about, I'll give you just one small example. We had a pipe failure at Westlake Sammamish Parkway, and it was only 100 feet of, actually less than probably. It was a stretch of pipe, I think it was maybe 100 feet, that would have ordinarily, if we had done it proactively, it would have cost us about $100,000. That failure cost us almost $2 million. So that's the reason that it has to be not too late. We can't run to failure. The other opportunity we take is, as our systems are aging, it's also an opportunity for us to enhance customer service. And one of the areas that we are doing that is as we are replacing our meters, aging meters. And we have about over 40,000 meters, and we are going to be changing them out to smart meters. And what that means to you is that now you will be able to have real-time information on how much water you're using. And that the benefit for that, one is obviously you can control your consumption, especially in the summertime. I will tell you that I think this year and 2015 especially, a lot of people were very surprised. They watered their lawns, landscaping, thinking, well, shoot, it can't be that much. And only to realize 3 months later, when they got the bill, because we only read the meters every 2 months now, at how much water they had used. Now, real time, you can control how much water you're going to use. But even bigger benefit is leak detection. I will tell you that we have a number of incidents where people have had significant leaks, and those leaks have gone undetected for a stretch of time, and we cannot give them any data because we don't have any data to say you have a leak, because we only read meters once every 2 months now. With the new smart meters, we will be able to, you'll be able to, first of all, monitor your consumption right on your phone. But we will also have alerts that we can send you saying something seems wrong here. You may want to check to see if you have a leak, or you can, we will send somebody out to say, can we help you diagnose if you have a leak, because your meter seems to be running around the clock. So the system we're putting in is something that there will be a customer portal that gives you information, and you can have it on your cell phone. And the meter is sending wireless data to a central database, and that database is being fed into our billing system. And so that is the technology that we are going to be implementing, and we're really excited. So right now, we're in contract negotiations. Our goal is to have a pilot for about 500 customers, and there are a lot of different customers that are wanting to be in the pilot, but we want to limit it. And but if you are interested, do give us your information, and we'll make sure that we consider that as we decide on how we're going to structure the pilot. That's going to be happening the fall of next year, and then as soon after that, we will be doing full-scale implementation, and our goal is to have all the meters changed out by end of 2000. So by that time, everybody will have these smart meters. Now, one of the questions that people have posed is, well, how big a problem is, say, leaks? Because, and I will tell you, it's a significant problem. Anybody who's had a leak has come to me and said, when are you putting these smart meters in? And my fear all along, every time I have to deny an adjustment, leak adjustment request, is that there is going to be a day of reckoning when I will have a leak. And I will be going to Sammamish Water District and saying, can you do a leak adjustment? Fortunately, they have put in smart meters. They put in smart meters about a year ago, so I'm relieved. But just last month, my mom, who goes to Arizona in the wintertime, she got this enormous bill, and she's not there, and it was a leak. And my first question to them was, when are you going to smart meters? Because especially in areas like Arizona, Florida, where people may not be living there year-round, leak could go undetected for a long time. So that is the customer service enhancement we're making in this current CIP. Now, water quality is a national conversation ever since Flint, Michigan. And you may remember also locally when Mercer Island had to have boil water order for several days, and it had a huge economic impact. And what I can tell you is that rest assured, your water is the best quality water that money can buy. First, it comes from a pristine source. You know, we have two sources. Cedar River Watershed is our main source, and then Tolt, and both of them are protected from human activity and are high up in the mountains, pristine water source. The other thing is that we do continuous monitoring. We have 33 sampling stations around the city that we do monthly sampling to make sure that there aren't any unsafe bacteria, and to make sure that we have proper level of chlorine in that water, so that your water is highest quality water. We also have about 16 online analyzers, meaning that they're on our infrastructure, and they're continuously monitoring. And they're monitoring chlorine, and they're monitoring pH. Because one of the problems with Flint was if the water is not the right pH, then it can interact with the pipes, and they happen to have lead pipes, and that's where the problem came to be. So we are continuously monitoring water quality to make sure that you have high quality drinking water. Obviously, running a business means that you need to care about financial sustainability, and you need to care about the impact to customers, and we very much care about the impact to our customers. And we take extreme steps to make sure that our rates are responsible, and we have a pretty rigorous process. It begins with the utilities management. First stop is me and the utilities leadership. When staff brings investments, budget proposals forward, we grill them. We grill them, and they have to present business case analysis to say why they should be doing that. So that's the first obstacle. Once we have okayed it, then there are multiple steps that our budget goes through, multiple steps of budget review. There's a cross-departmental team that's made up of folks from police, folks from finance, IT, folks that have nothing to do with utilities, that review our budget and ask us hard questions about why you need this money and what are you doing with it. Then it goes to the city's leadership team, which is all the directors of the city, including the city manager and the deputy city managers. Simultaneously, it goes through, only the utilities budget goes through a separate review process with a commission, Environmental Services Commission. Utilities is the only department that has its operating budget and its rates reviewed separately by a citizen advisory committee, the Environmental Services Commission, that has been appointed by council. And as Councilmember Noonhouse mentioned, he is the council liaison that sits on that on the Environmental Services Commission, and that team then reviews the budget in detail. And we literally, it's a year-long process for us to review our budget in detail, operating, capital, and the rates. And then they make a recommendation to City Council. So, and then the City Council finally reviews our budget. So there are multiple layers of budget review that go into informing the rates before rates are adopted. And the rates are adopted by council. And they are adopted every 2 years for, there are annual increases, but they're adopted every 2 years for each year. So, as I mentioned, rates are our only source of revenue, other than interest income or some small other, but that's our primary source of revenue. And our goal is to make sure that we are recovering enough rate revenue to pay for current expenses and to make sure that we're sustainable long run. And one of our big goals is uniform gradual rate increases. You are never going to have 45% rate increase in Bellevue. because we are planning for the long term. We do 75-year rate forecast because we don't want that we are sort of looking at something for 2 years or 7 years, and then there is a big climb right outside that window. So long-range rate planning is very, very important to our budgeting process. So what do you get? How much are you paying for all the safe drinking water, safe removal of wastewater, flood protection, and environmental protection? It is $5, just about $5.50 a day is what you're paying for all 3 of these services. So I promise you, this is the last question. So how many gallons of mountain fresh water do you think you can get for $1? Yeah, you have some choices here. I should have had more questions. You guys are really now participating. So I think it's stable enough. So let's look at the next slide. So you can go to the store and for $1, you can pick up a bottle of water, or for the same dollar, we will deliver to your home 100 gallons of equal quality or better quality drinking water. And that's what, it's a penny a gallon is what it costs you to have water from us. So that's how much the water is costing you. All said and done, rates are important. They have a direct impact on you. We keep an eye on our rates, and we make sure that we are competitive, that we are, that our rates are, if they're out of line, we want to know why, and our goal is that they're competitive. And what I can tell you is that they're competitive now. You can see that, so let me guide you through this. These are 3 different customer classes: residential, multifamily, and commercial. And what we do is we compare ourselves to our neighboring jurisdictions. And we don't compare ourselves to Spokane because it's unlikely that somebody is going to leave Bellevue and because of utility rates and go to Spokane. But they might choose Redmond, and so we look at the neighboring jurisdictions to see how do our rates compare to theirs. And this is the total bill for all 3 utilities: water, sewer, and storm. So in Bellevue, it's just under $170 a month is what the utility bill is for an average residential customer. You can see for all 3 customer classes, we're in the middle of the pack. We're not the lowest, and we're not the highest as far as the total utility bill is concerned. What's really important is that this is despite the fact that we are making huge investment in our infrastructure right now. Unlike our neighbors, they are way behind as far as investing in the infrastructure. So while we are competitive now, we are going to be even more competitive when they have to start putting that kind of investment into their system. We know that utility bills can be a hardship for some population, some subset of our population. So we have a couple of rate relief programs that are especially targeted to help those customers. We have 2 programs. One is the utility rate relief, and that is an offer. City offers that to low-income seniors and low-income permanently disabled persons. And this applies to all 4 utilities: water, wastewater, drainage, and solid waste. And depending on income, that's a rate rebate or a discount of almost 70%, 70 to 75%. So it's a huge discount for those who can in this situation. The second program we have is for all low income who qualify, and that is the utility tax relief. And that is, it's a fixed amount. It's, I think, in about $110 range. And that is to reimburse you for the utility tax that you paid to the utility. And that is done by the general fund. General fund says, we collected that, we're going to give it back to those who might benefit from this program. So these are two mechanisms we have to help our customers who have financial hardship. At the end of the day, we have multiple criteria that we use to assess our performance. And it's really how the customers feel about us, how are we doing financially, and what does the industry say about our performance. So, and the most important, obviously, is how do our customers feel about us. And we do annual surveys, and consistently, year after year, we get high customer satisfaction rating. And we already talked about the rates. But the other thing is that utilities is in a solid financial condition. And the primary reason for that is the long-range forecast, long-range planning mindset, and the council's commitment. It is so easy to say, let's keep rates low short-term, but they have adopted policies that say, no, we need to be sustainable over the long run. So the solid financial policies is what has put utilities business on a solid footing. We have no debt. The council says we will use debt in a catastrophic event. So if there's an earthquake and we now our entire system is wiped out, or big portions of it are, that is when we rely on debt. And we have a very high bond rating, highest that a utility of our size can have. So what that means is, while we have no debt right now, if we ever need to issue debt, we will get very favorable rates. And then national standards of excellence. The APWA stands for American Public Works Association, and that is an international organization that accredits utilities, public works. So it's very similar to universities and hospitals, which have been accredited for a long, long time. In the utility industry, these are relatively new. It's about 25 years old, the program. And they look at all your procedures, policies, practices, and say, how do they compare to best management practices? And there's a team of assessors come on site, and you provide documentation. They interview staff to see how you measure up against national standards. And so it's a rigorous process. They reviewed, I think, almost 400 of our practices, and we were accredited for the first time in 2004, first utility in the state of Washington to be accredited, and the 14th in the nation. Right now, at this point, there are 139 utilities in the nation that have been accredited. So we were at the front end wanting to get this external validation that we were on the right track. AMWA or AMWA stands for American Metropolitan Water Works Agencies, and these are the largest water agencies in North America. And they have, again, similar kind of process, different agency, and the Platinum Award and Sustainability Award are their two awards. It's kind of like a step up. First you apply for, and it's a gold award, and that has certain requirements. Once you have received the gold award, you can then continue to improve, and if you continue to improve, you can apply for and for the platinum award. And once you have had the platinum award, then you are eligible if you qualify to receive the sustainability award. And again, it is a peer review from industry experts, and these are industry experts from other utilities across the nation. So for us, what that means is that it isn't just us saying we're well run. It is external validation that we are on the right track. So these are the measures that I look at, our executive team looks at to say, how are we doing? So that is the kind of the end of my formal presentation. Next part is going to be, like I mentioned, there are going to be tours. There are 7 stations that you'll go through, and you'll have about 15 minutes or so at each station. There will be staff there to show you what each of these areas means, what they do in this area, and you will have time to ask questions. So with that, I think we have, do we have any time to, few minutes to respond to any questions they might? 2 or 3? Oh my gosh, I talked too long. Okay.
What is the rate the city pays to water its parks and medians compared to the rate that the homeowner pays for watering its gardens?
Exactly the same. Exactly the same. The city facilities pay exactly the same rate. Nobody is subsidized.
What's the connection between Bellevue Utilities and Rabanco, who pick up garbage and do the recycling?
Yes. So we contract. We don't run our own garbage trucks. We don't have run our own transfer station. So we contract with Republic, which used to be Rabanco, and it's a multi-year. It's a 7-year contract, renewable for another 7. And the first year it was started was 2014, the most recent one. And they do all the operations, and they bill you directly. They customer care. When you call, you're being attended to by a Republic staff. What we do is we run some of the recycling programs, waste diversion programs, because we really we care about waste diversion. We care that we are not sending so much stuff to landfills. So we partner with Rabanco, Republic, but we also do our own programs in-house. Education campaigns, school programs, those kind of programs.
May I have a comment first and then a question? I was told many times that New York City have the best drinking water in the world. I test the water from New York. I don't have a chance to test the 50 states, but since I moved here, I think the drinking water here is test as good, or maybe, I don't know. I don't have the yardstick, just by the test. I think they test better than New York.
Thank you.
I have a question. Not really a regular thing, but there's something curious here on the page 7 of the drinking water. And you talk about asbestos cement. And usually the asbestos is not good, but why is it in the cement in which you have the pipe in there? Can you tell me what is that?
Asbestos cement.
Oh, asbestos cement. Yes. So asbestos cement. Oh, that is the LP siding of utility business. So asbestos cement is the type of material that the water pipes and sewer pipes were made from back in the 50s. So this was post-World War II when metal was scarce. So they created a new product called asbestos cement, and a lot of pipes installed during that time. Unfortunately, which applies to us, about 40% of our system is asbestos cement, and it is perfectly safe while it's intact, right? It doesn't come out so there is no health hazard to the pipe as it exists. The problem is that when it fails catastrophically. So you have catastrophic failures, and especially the smaller pipes and diameter pipes, the small fail pretty, like I said, catastrophically. So what we are trying to do is actively replace asbestos cement pipe. Again, the larger diameter, they're stable. We don't have enough money to replace everything, and there is no water quality concern with that pipe. There is integrity of how long it lasts concern. Yeah.
Hi, our neighborhood was the beneficiary of brand new sewer pipes, and that's still going on. It's a pretty big operation, and they're lovely, but the streets above them are now crisscrossed with cuts and crosses, and it's sort of sewn together like Frankenstein. Is there a plan or a process that's usually done after this renewal to bring the streets up so that they're flat and look good?
It's all about money. We have a process. Generally, what we aim to do is go in just ahead of street restoration by transportation department. So we partner with them. So we will do just what is necessary, and then they'll come in and finish off the road. That's the plan. That's the goal. Doesn't always work, because if they're not, if the transportation department isn't going to be going in for a long time, then we have a patch repair, and I am going to, who's going to answer this question? What's our policy on how much restoration we do when we are, Linda, can you take that?
So to answer the question, in the neighborhoods where we have the sewer capital work being done, maybe you live in the Viewcrest neighborhood, what our plan is, as Nav has said, we are partnering with the transportation department, and we're planning with them on their overlay program, which will come in after us. So we're timing that to make sure that the sewer work as well as water main work that's happening in the next couple of years gets done before they come in and put in their overlay. We don't want to have to come and dig up brand new asphalt pavement. So we're actively working with transportation on that, and it's going to take a couple years before the paving can be done, because we want to make sure that the asbestos cement water pipe work is done in addition to the sewer work. So just to let you know, it's in the planning stage for that restoration. But as far as other areas where the transportation overlay isn't planned to be for quite a while, Utilities does have a paving program that we will come in the next year in the cases where we're doing our work and do the pavement restoration.
We're going to do 2 final questions right over here.
What does the city do for conservation to encourage it at apartment complexes that don't charge their water on a per unit basis? They just combine it all together? Because I know if I'm saving water, I know other complexes are, other units aren't, and I'm paying for their water.
Yeah, so that is unfortunately the hardest market to reach, is the multifamily when it comes to conservation or waste diversion, any kind of recycling programs. And we have educational programs that that we try and reach out to the tenants to kind of teach them about water conservation, about recycling, and the other approach is actually reaching the children. That is found to be the most effective is school programs where we are teaching the children, and they go home and say, "Mom, let's not leave the tap running while we're washing the dishes," that kind of thing. So, but again, because there isn't a direct, they don't have direct information on how much water they're using, each unit is using, and they don't pay based on that, that is difficult market to reach.
Will they get the smart meters?
Not unless they, not if they are not already individually metered.
Okay.
Yeah. Like townhouses might be individually metered, but a multi-story complex probably just has 1 meter. Yeah.
Is Bellevue in discussion about eliminating plastic bags?
We are participating with King County on their conversation, and Bellevue's historically our approach has been education rather than enforcement, and so we put our efforts into how can we educate you that plastic bags are not so good for the environment. But let me ask, is Jennifer here? She'll be downstairs. Oh, she'll be downstairs. So hold that thought, because there is going to be a station downstairs, and they will have a more complete answer. Andrew, do you have?
Bellevue has an environmental stewardship initiative, and Jennifer Ewing is our environmental stewardship initiative lead person. And so probably later this year, actually, she'll be launching kind of a renewal of that program and kind of a replanning of that. And that will be one of the issues that we're going to be digging into. Should we go ahead and approach something from that angle?
Okay, can we please give Nav a round of applause? Thank you.